Hashtag Trending is brought to you with the generous sponsorship of Zoho Canada. We thank them for making it possible for us to bring you this type of content. Zoho has a unique and powerful software suite to transform the way you work. It's designed for businesses of all sizes and built by a company that values your privacy. Visit them at zoho.com. Is it worth it to pay for ChatGPT? The U.S. Surgeon General wants warnings about the health issues of social media. The U.S. Department of Justice is taking Adobe to court, alleging that they have been deceiving consumers about subscription practices, and a question that's been bugging me and has some big implications. All this and more on the Uncomfortable Questions edition of Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. We did a story yesterday about how ChatGPT's revenues have more than doubled. Presumably, part of that comes from people like yours truly who pay about $20 US a month for the service. And that made sense initially. But on the launch of GPT-4o, Sam Altman surprised a lot of people by what he made available to the free users. A lot of what you used to pay for is now available for free. You have access to GPT-4o, and even access to the GPTs, the custom versions of ChatGPT that have been developed. Why? My guess is that while they're still in growth mode and not having to declare a profit or report to Wall Street, OpenAI wants to get the biggest footprint and the most number of users they can. Later, they can deal with the issue of getting them to pay, which might make a window of opportunity for the casual user. If you just want to use ChatGPT, the biggest value that paid users see is more time on ChatGPT and possibly some priority in processing. But even then, if you're a casual user, the worst that happens to you, from my understanding, if you exceed your limit, is that you get shunted down to a prior version. No biggie. And if you're a casual user with even limited access to the latest model for free, is it worth it to pay? Well, it turns out there are some things that paid users still have access to. Free users can't use DALL-E for images, even though ChatGPT-4 can analyze visuals and text. The desktop version is only available for paid users, but it's also only available for Mac users right now, so that might not be an issue for some. Another big reason to use the paid model may be data analysis. This paid version gives you access to ChatGPT's advanced features. You can create interactive charts and tables, and these charts, by the way, can be customized and loaded into presentations. In the paid version, you can upload files directly from Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive, and you have the option to browse for files on your local device. For the right user, that alone might be worth it. But there's one great way to find out. Try it. And if you find yourself hitting those limits often or needing complex tasks or numerous requests, I'm certain ChatGPT won't turn you away with your credit card in hand. With features like voice mode coming later this year, the free tier may not always cut it for everything you need or want. And presumably the paid subscription will also give you the latest updates right when they launch. But in the meantime, as the old saying goes, you can't save more money than free. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy is urging social media platforms to include warning labels similar to those found on cigarette packs, alerting users that the apps are associated with significant mental health harms for adolescents. In an opinion piece, Murthy cites research linking increased teenage social media use to higher risks of anxiety and depression. He argues such labels would regularly remind parents and adolescents that social media has not yet been proved safe. It's a bold proposal aimed at driving awareness as the Surgeon General positions the youth mental health crisis as an emergency warranting urgent action against the key contributing factor, social media overuse. And the U.S. Surgeon General isn't the only one raising a red flag. In the UK, a new Online Safety Act is planned for in 2025, and that act will require safeguards on a wide range of things. But when kids die, it will also give bereaved parents the right to information about their child's social media usage. Murthy clearly anticipates pushback, writing, "In an emergency, you don't wait for perfect information before acting." But do we really have to wait for more information? A survey by the Royal Society for Public Health found that Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram all led to increased feelings of depression, anxiety, poor body image, and loneliness among 14 to 24-year-olds in the UK. A study of 14-year-olds published by the National Library of Medicine in the US found that greater social media use predicted poor sleep, online harassment, poor body image, low self-esteem, and higher depressive symptom scores, with a larger association for girls than boys. The big social media platforms haven't yet weighed in, but you can bet the lobbyists are going to make as much money on this as they did on big tobacco. Get ready for a huge debate. The U.S. Department of Justice is taking Adobe to court, alleging that the software giant has been deceiving consumers with its subscription practices. In a complaint filed Monday, the DOJ claims Adobe has been misleading customers about the true costs and terms of its paid monthly subscriptions. The lawsuit states that Adobe hides key details like costly early termination fees, often burying this information in the fine print or behind optional links and text boxes. When signing up, customers are automatically enrolled in Adobe's most expensive annual plan without clear disclosure of the terms. If subscribers do try to cancel, the government alleges Adobe forces them through a needlessly onerous and complicated process filled with roadblocks. This includes navigating multiple web pages, pop-ups that ambush users with termination fees, and even having customer service calls disconnected if they attempt to cancel over the phone or via chat. The DOJ argues that these deceptive tactics trap consumers into costly subscriptions against their will, violating federal consumer protection laws. The lawsuit specifically names 2 Adobe executives it claims directed and controlled these alleged unlawful practices. In a statement, an FTC official said, Americans are tired of companies hiding the ball during a subscription sign-up and then putting up roadblocks when they try to cancel. The suit speaks to escalating scrutiny of Adobe's business model that shifted to subscriptions for creative software like Photoshop in 2012. And here's my question for today. Can somebody explain to me why I need an AI PC? They are going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, according to what I've been reading. To really harness the full potential of AI, I need a new class of computer, an AI PC. AI PCs have specialized chips designed just for running AI workloads efficiently. And companies like AMD and others have added dedicated AI accelerators called neural processing units, or NPUs, into their latest processors. And soon, everyone will be offering these. The case for upgrading seems to be that just like video editing or gaming benefits from a powerful GPU, AI tasks like language processing or computer vision really take off with an NPU under the hood. Or maybe I need an AI assistant that can understand plain language requests, create graphics, edit videos, or even write code. Perhaps having an AI analyze business data and generate insights instantaneously. With a traditional PC, those intensive AI workloads could bottleneck the system. But an AI PC with an NPU can handle it all with optimized performance. But right now, I'm using AI constantly, and anytime I need the power of an AI model, I'm using the API to use OpenAI or a similar model to do the heavy lifting. I almost bought an upgraded PC with big memory and a big GPU for one function that I use that is really intensive. But with a simple Perplexity search, I found a service that does that as part of a bundle of tools that I needed for editing anyway. I get it. Just like when floating point calculations were improved or with new graphics cards, eventually these get built into everything. But the second wave of these developments is always cheaper. So what's the rush? I know why manufacturers want us to move up. They need to get you to move out of that old inventory and start buying. There's a big slump in PC purchasing, and this would be great for their bottom line. But for me, it's not just the cost of early replacement. There's a huge environmental impact as well. I forget the exact amount, so I could be corrected by somebody, but it's something like 80% of the carbon footprint of a device is baked in during the manufacturing and delivering. The operational component, power used, etc., is minuscule by comparison. So I'm more than willing to be schooled in why I'm wrong. I invite the comments. But if a lot more people feel like I do, the next wave of PCs could be a huge disappointment in terms of corporate and consumer sales. And that's our show for today. Hashtag Trending goes to air 5 days a week with a daily news show and a weekend interview show we call the Weekend Edition. And we've got a great one for you this weekend. Show notes are at technewsday.ca or .com. Either one works. Contact me at editorial@technews.ca. I answer every comment. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a terrific Tuesday.